Italian Brainrot hit kids' devices in 2025 and broke the internet with tens of billions of views across TikTok and YouTube. And now our oldest is 7, almost 8. Although we've made the decision as parents not to allow him to watch it, many of his school friends are watching it. So as a parent who always likes to stay informed, I decided to take a deep dive into Italian Brainrot, and what a deep dive it was, which is why I thought I should create a YouTube video about it, because what I've learned, I really want to share and inform you all about it so you can make an informed decision about whether you let your child watch Italian Brainrot. So I reached out to my Instagram followers to find out if people knew what this highly addictive content was. And I've got over 700,000 followers on Instagram, and 79% of them said they had no idea what Italian Brainrot was. And we know through the viewing figures, kids are watching it. Kids are consuming hours upon hours of this content. So if parents aren't aware of what it is, I hope this video can bring a level of awareness they need to make an informed decision. So if you're a parent whose child watches Italian Brainrot, or a parent with a baby, a young toddler, or just a parent who wants to be informed so you can actually make a decision that works for you, your child and your family, then this video is for you, because we're going to learn all about Italian Brainrot. I'm going to introduce you to some of the highly addictive characters. We're going to actually watch a clip of Italian Brainrot together. I'm going to explore why it's so addictive, the dangers behind it, and to close off the video, I'm actually going to do a screen share, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to tap into these AI learned language models and create a highly addictive Italian Brainrot character. So let's dive in. Before we kick off, if you're new here, hi, I'm Tom from the Dad Vibes, and I create content to help parents feel more connected, to reduce stress, and to help them parent without punishment. So, why did I decide to create this video? Interestingly, as I've mentioned, 79% of my Instagram followers had no idea what Italian Brainrot was. Now, Italian Brainrot is AI generated characters, essentially. It's a TV show with very nonsensical, highly addictive characters. So we'll get into some of the characters shortly, but just to give you an example, and you'll see the way the names of these characters roll off the tongue is what feeds into making them so addictive. So you've got Bombadillo Crocodilo is actually the head of a crocodile attached to a World War II bomber plane. Now, Bombadillo Crocodilo obviously bombs people, and in some of the episodes he actually bombs children. Now, each of the characters, to my knowledge, have songs as well, which again roll off the tongue and are highly addictive. Now, one of the main motivators behind creating this video is the fact that so many kids are watching it, but there's a huge disconnect in the awareness of parents. So many parents are actually unaware of what their kids are actually watching. And I was out quite recently, and a child of a friend we were with was singing one of these Italian Brainrot songs. And I asked the parent, what are your thoughts on Italian Brainrot? And they said to me, what's Italian Brainrot? And I think that is very common, that there's a huge disconnect between a parent's understanding of a lot of the content their kids are watching, certainly if they have unsupervised access to devices, especially YouTube, when the autonomy is taken away from you because the YouTube algorithms learn about what you like watching. So if you're a 3 or a 4-year-old child, YouTube is going to get your content ready before you even have a chance to think. There's no break in play for you to take a step back. So if your kid does have unsupervised access to a device, if they watch YouTube, they will be served this content because it's highly engaging, it's highly addictive, it's very stimulating. And as I've said about Bombadillo Crocodilo, it's nonsensical. And I think that confusing aspect when it comes to the nonsensical side of things is what keeps spiking that dopamine, keeps kids confused and keeps them engaging for longer. You've also got another character, again, we'll get into it shortly, Ballerina Cappuccina, who is a cappuccino head with a ballerina body. Now, she gets into lots of mischief, as I've explored, so we'll get into that as well. So I think what I'm going to do now, because I'm really excited to create this video, I learned loads researching this. I think I spent about a week throughout the evenings researching. It's super interesting. I work in tech. We use AI from a tech point of view, but the fact that people are using it and feeding these learned language models content and prompts to pull back the most addictive, overstimulating, dopamine-inducing content is just crazy to me. So basically, this video, I want to raise as much awareness as I can. I want to inform you as much as I can, so then you can take it away, no judgment, and make an informed decision on what's right for you. So I'm going to grab a coffee and then we're going to dive in. So what is Italian brain rot? I think the best way to describe it is nonsensical absurdity. Try and think of the most absurd thing you can think of and then times that by 1,000,000 and you'll land somewhere near. So I've told you about Bombadillo Crocodilo. I've told you about Ballerina Cappuccina. There's a character called Tung Sahur, which actually means, I think it's the drum beat that's given for the first meal after Ramadan. Now, there's very dark messages within Italian brain rot that are layered behind catchy tunes. So you'll get, and I'll get into it shortly, but you'll get kids chanting these tunes, but little do they know they're to do with religion. Palestine is touched within a few episodes. Bombing of children. There's a lot of infighting, attacking each other with swords and daggers, and I'll share a clip with you shortly. So a lot of these quite sensitive subjects, certainly when it comes to culture and religion, are layered in, and tongue-in-cheek jokes are made of these sort of areas. That God's mentioned, Allah is mentioned in a few episodes, again layered in behind a catchy tune, and you might have children chanting these unknowingly. You've got a character that holds a bat to beat a drum that's named after the drum beat for a pre-Ramadan meal, and he uses that to beat people with in a number of episodes. We'll get into that, but essentially that is what Italian brain rot is. Now, there's no story arc, so you could watch a film and there's a resolution. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. It comes to a natural end. A child can put it down and go on to the next task. But because with Italian brain, it's so nonsensical, it's so fear-inducing, and it's just a constant loop of loud noise, highly stimulating visual, fear-inducing content, and it goes in a loop and there's no story arc, so it's impossible for kids to put it down. So I think what we're going to do now, I'm going to veer to my laptop and I'm going to introduce you to some of the characters. I've introduced Bombadillo Crocodilo. So Bombadillo Crocodilo is a crocodile's head attached to fuselage of a World War II era bomber plane, usually depicted flying through bizarre landscapes, known for dramatic, nonsensical Italian phrases, dropping bombs, sometimes on children, adding to the dark humour, and general chaotic military action. Next up, we've got Ballerina Cappuccina, depicted as an elegant ballerina with a cappuccino cup for a head. Known for dancing and interacting in bizarre scenarios with other characters like Cappuccino Assassinino. She embodies a blend of whimsical beauty and digital absurdity. And then finally, we've got, there are lots of characters, but I've landed on these three. We've got Tung Sahur is an Indonesian origin viral meme character, Italian brain rot character, part of the Italian brain rot internet phenomenon. Featuring a drum-like entity with a baseball bat that appears if you ignore calls for Sahur, which obviously, as I mentioned, is the pre-dawn Ramadan meal. It's known for its absurd AI-generated style with dramatic voiceovers symbolizing a call to wake up for the meal, and became popular in 2025 across TikTok and Roblox. Okay, so now you've got some context, I am going to fire up an episode. We're going to watch about a minute of it together, and let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, so this episode is called Brainrot, fusion, trippy, tropper, tralala. Again, you can see the alliteration coming off the tongue. Everything is geared up to be as addictive as possible. I've got no idea what this one's about. I've landed on a random one. This YouTube account has got 1 million subscribers. This video has had 16,000 likes. So let's go.
I saw death right in front of me. There was no way out. I was gonna...
So just pausing to let you know, immediately, bright colours, loud noises, immediate fear-inducing content. You've got a coffee cup that is dangling from a tree, being lowered into what looks like some form of meat grinder.
You brutally crushed while you got married and lived a happy life with that idiot Trallalero. It's all over. Then, boom! A miracle saved me! I'm still alive! And now, I'm here.
How the heck did you get down from the tree?
Mateo loves money.
Well, that's true. You damn traitor.
So it was all a lie?
And what if it...
Pick up on some of the tones as well. Everything is so angry, it's so aggy. In most of the episodes, people are crying, they're upset. Here you've got another character, a shark. He's got some normal shoes on there, but in the research I've done, he wears blue Nike trainers. And it looks like he's getting married to the cappuccino dancer.
No one will!
Okay, he's just pulled out a dagger or some sort of sword.
Don't even think about it! You don't stand a chance against me, Trallalero!
Oh, you overestimate yourself, Cappuccino! Watch how I kill you!
Oh no! He really did it!
I won!
You only want to be an idiot.
Oh, sweet you.
I think I'm dying.
Please stop.
Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. The fact that almost 80% of my followers on Instagram had no idea that existed, I really hope some of their children aren't watching that unsupervised. I'd like to think my brain is fairly developed and I feel overstimulated watching that for what, a minute. I dread to think what a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old watching that, and good luck to parents getting the device off the child if they're watching that. In comparison, something like our little girl at the moment who's 3, when we sit down, if we have a little bit of TV time, she absolutely loves Mary Poppins. I've done a comparison of the two, which I'll share in a few weeks' time. Please let me know in your comments your thoughts on what we've just watched. A reminder, tens of billions of views in 2025 across all social platforms. And yeah, seems to be the talk of the town at the moment. It's literally consuming the youth of today. So please take some time to explore and learn a bit more about it beyond this video. So why is it so addictive? Fear-inducing themes. I think we watched that for what, 60 seconds? You had a coffee cup being dangled from a tree, lowered into a meat grinder. Just at the last minute, his sword fell out and stopped the meat grinder. Then we were transported to a wedding where the shark stabbed the coffee cup, and then the ballerina knocked out the shark, and then they kissed, and it was all very dramatic. And yeah, again, already mentioned it, but if your child is watching that, good luck getting them to switch off and move to another task quickly. Absurdity and confusion, jokes that just don't make sense. And what happens is it suppresses the prefrontal cortex and hands control to the reward system. So when the child is watching it, that confusion, that absurdity feeds into that reward system, spikes that dopamine, because it's just impossible to get your head around. And again, it leaves them craving more and more. And we've also got the unpredictability. It's so unpredictable, from the names of the characters to the way the characters look, to right through to the storylines. And then, as I've said, it feeds into the cut changes. You've just got no recovery time whatsoever. So you're staring at the screen and there's no break in play. It's just stimulation after stimulation. Loud noise, bright colours, flashing lights, scene change, fear-inducing content again and again in a loop. And all of this feeds into something called overstimulation that kids are often punished for by their parents because they won't put the device down. And it gets to me, because often children are seen as naughty. They're spending too much time on their devices. They don't listen. They won't put it down. But of course they won't. The kids watching this are 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7, 8, 9-year-olds. There's no reason for a child to be watching this type of content. Screen time can be fun. And I don't proclaim to say that we can all supervise every second of our child's screen time, but we can certainly control it, we can certainly be present, and we can certainly monitor it. So one of the big decisions my wife and I made earlier in the year is we completely removed YouTube. Nothing against YouTube, absolutely love it. None of the content that he was watching on YouTube felt valuable that he couldn't seek elsewhere. So we decided to remove it because the problem is you can't fight the algorithm, whether you're on YouTube Kids or adult YouTube. They're just going to be serving you the content that they feel is going to keep you engaged for longer. And these people creating this content, the people behind Italian Brainrot, if we're honest with each other, do they really care about our child's development, or do they just care about ad revenue? I'll let you be the judge of that, but I think we both know the answer. So yeah, absolutely no place for Italian Brainrot for any child. Okay, for the fun part. Now I'm going to share how easy it is to create one of these characters feeding in to an AI learned language model. So I'm just going to do a screen share here. Okay, so I've opened up ChatGPT 5.2. I'm going to start feeding into it and see if we can come up with an addictive character. I'm going to land on a random animal, let's say a rabbit. So I would like to create an addictive Italian Brainrot style character. Please come up with a name that rolls off the tongue. I can't remember how to spell this one. Is it Bombadiro? Crocodilo? I'd like it to be a rabbit with human legs and wings. Please, can you design an image for this character and let me know their name? Focus on it being addictive and able to spike a child's dopamine. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Okay, that was quick. We've got a highly stimulating Italian Brainrot type character. We've got a rabbit with human legs, arms, and wings. Congilio Angioletto. Wow, that is overstimulating. And if I'm honest, probably a bit lighter and more fun and friendly than some of the Italian Brainrot characters I've introduced you to and flashed on the screen to you today. But yeah, that's how easy it is. And you've got to remember that the learned language models grow and evolve. So the people creating this content, essentially what they'll do is they'll be feeding all of the information with regards what works well, what characters are most addictive, what characters are engaged with the most, which songs are working, which names are working. And the AI model will continually evolve and continually make this content even more addictive, because as the views roll in, it's just going to continue learning. And obviously it's a learned language model, so it will continue building and evolving based on the data that's fed to it. Now, before we close out, I did want to share a few dark elements to Italian Brainrot, which I found online as I was doing my research. So I've stripped out 3 things that aren't the best, but I feel like it's important to share, that have occurred in various episodes. So I'm going to veer off screen so I can read these to you. But with regards to some of the characters, so Tralalelo Tralala, which I think is a 3-legged shark. Yep, the 3-legged shark in Nike trainers seems silly, but the Italian audio actually includes a lot of swearing at both God and Allah. It's a form of blasphemy hidden in catchy rhymes, and obviously children could be chanting and singing these rhymes in the schoolyard. You've also got Bombardiro Crocodilo, which I've introduced you to at length. He's a crocodile bomber plane hybrid. However, it also, across a few episodes, have included disturbing lines about bombing children in Palestine and hating religion. So it turns real-world violence into a joke. And then finally, you've got Tung 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 Sahur. This character mimics the sound made in Muslim communities to wake up for fasting during Ramadan. Some viewers say the character and chant make fun of Islamic traditions in a lot of episodes because that encompasses who the character is. So I really hope this deep dive has helped to inform you today. Again, I'm going to be sharing more about Italian brain rot and the overstimulating content that finds our children. Again, this isn't our children's fault. Our children aren't going out, aren't being born, waking up saying, right, I want to go and watch some disturbing Italian brain rot content. If you choose to give your child unsupervised access to a device, this content will find them. So all I'll say, to monitor the situation, no unsupervised access to devices and or YouTube for kids, certainly under the age of 13. But also what I've been doing, I haven't been shying away, well, both my wife and I, from the conversation. So obviously this content is highly popular and our 7-year-old knows a lot about it. He's never watched an episode, but if he comes home from school and engages in conversation, someone's told me about Tralalelo Tralala. I want to know more. And I don't go off and shun him away and say, ignore it. I take him on that journey with me. Let's learn about these characters together. Let's learn about Italian brain rot. How is it created? He knows that it's AI generated. He knows all about AI. He knows that the aim of the content is to engage the child for as long as possible and to keep them addictive. And what that means is it makes the conversation of this content isn't right for you so much easier. And it's like, okay, I understand, mum and dad, that's great. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. There's going to be lots more in 2026. If you want to find me, head over to Instagram, the Dad Vibes, to join over 700,000 followers. I share daily on there. I share a few personal insights in my stories as well. Head to thedadvibes.com/toolkits if you want help with reducing stress and parenting from a place of calm, certainly parenting without yelling or punishment. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed researching it. As a parent, I love to be as informed as possible, and I can't wait for next week where there'll be another video. Thank you.